Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. La Soufriere Volcano in St. Vincent proves to be more active than first predicted and can go on for months. This story takes the lead in our 1092nd edition of Caribbean Perspective for Friday 16th April 2021. Details after this break.
Did you know that your friends and family can now shop at the Food Fair from anywhere in the world? And you can receive here in Grenada? The Food Fair and GrenadaMarket.com now make it possible through secure online shopping and personalized customer service. Simply send your loved ones a list of your preferred items or let them fill an online basket and the items will be available for pickup or delivery. Visit GrenadaMarket.com or thefoodfair.gd today for more details. The new norm. Spread the news.
Welcome back. La Soufriere continues to produce activity, with the latest eruption occurring just before midnight on Tuesday. And even as Vincentians are grappling with the effects of the volcano, reports of dengue and planned criminal activity have started coming in amid the ongoing threat of COVID-19. TV6's Renessa Cutting reports.
Vincentians are being warned to stay on guard as late Tuesday night. Vincentians are being warned to stay on guard as late Tuesday night the volcano erupted again, triggering what is termed long-period earthquakes, as well as pyroclastic flows as far as the sea in the Wallabu area.
All the land around Soufriere now, given that it could put pyroclastic flow down any part and could reach the sea fairly easily, all of those areas now you have to consider that there must be a buffer outside. There must be a mile or two outside the landmass, where you now have to consider that the red zone extends, the area that you could be affected in a bad way.
On Monday, the National Emergency Management Organization advised that persons who refuse to leave the red zone will be arrested. But Professor Robertson is advising that these persons do not wait for that eventuality.
From what I have studied and seen in the field, it's not a nice way to go. So you don't want to do that. You should get out if you're there.
So far, there have been no reports of deaths or injuries, but Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves notes that persons who refuse to evacuate put not only themselves at risk, but also the first responders who have to rescue them.
Yesterday was the fifth successive day that the brave, the courageous men and women from the Coast Guard have gone into Oya. And they have taken out 127 persons.
Wednesday marks day 6 of the ongoing volcanic activity on the island, and experts warn the situation could last months. The latest eruption caused disruption to some water systems on the island. However, the Central Water and Sewerage Authority says most systems have been restored.
The water supply systems are generally back on and currently up to about 70%.
But the country is also facing an issue with mosquito-borne disease and what seems to be the beginnings of security challenges, as intelligence has revealed planned burglaries on the island.
I don't want the dengue problem we have, the volcano problem we have, that I have on top of it is security problem. So I have to head that off. And that is why I'm getting early in the day, and if need be, I will get reinforcements. I'm determined that such persons do not have space to function.
All of this is happening amid the ever-present threat of COVID-19. Dr. Gonsalves warns it's a combination of threats that, if not properly managed, could have a devastating outcome.
3 days ago, as you know, it was reported that down in the Pembroke district, which involves South Leeward, there were 12 cases of COVID. If we are not strict on the COVID measures, we are going to have more than likely, and I've been advised of this by the chief medical officer, outbreaks, and we can't afford to have that.
The Prime Minister is calling for discipline and patience. Renessa Cutting, TV6 News.
In the meantime, volcanic ash emanating from the Soufriere Volcano has found its way to St. Lucia. Public health officials are gearing up to care for people who may be impacted by the ill effects of the volcanic ash. Collage Alfred of HTS News Force has some details.
To some, it may look like snow in the tropical Caribbean region, but this is no winter wonderland, as volcanic ash is not water vapor ice crystals and can pose a serious health hazard. The negative effects of volcanic ash on the human body are cause for concern, topping the agenda of a media conference hosted by public health officials on Wednesday, March 14th.
The very small particles of this volcanic ash can get into the bloodstream and affect many organs in the body. It is important for persons with chronic illnesses to ensure they always have adequate supply of their medication.
Medical Officer of Health Dr. Glensford Joseph emphasizes the importance of taking precautions to avoid overexposure to ash fall.
Some persons may have a foreign body sensation to the eyes, which may become itchy and painful. Some may have teary eyes or a sticky discharge from the eyes. The particles from the ash can cause scratching and scarring of the eyes, and this is important to note.
News Force did receive reports from residents in the south of the island of a tingling sensation on their skins after interaction with the ash. Dr. Joseph says that while skin irritation is uncommon, some persons can be affected and may also experience redness and discomfort.
This may be associated with secondary infection as a result of scratching to the skin. If you're experiencing skin or eye irritation, it is important to wash the eyes and the skin with clean water. If symptoms persist or worsen, visit your nearest healthcare provider.
The medical officer notes that the other effects of volcanic ash include poor visibility, which could increase the odds of vehicular crashes. The Ministry of Health has reportedly enhanced its surveillance systems to detect and manage persons with symptoms associated with volcanic ash. As of Wednesday morning, there were no reports of persons visiting healthcare facilities complaining of ailments believed to be linked to the volcanic ash. Soulage Alfred, HTS News Force.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
Phase 2 of Trinidad and Tobago's vaccination program starts on Saturday, with parliamentarians up for the jab. Meanwhile, the interval between doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine will have to be adjusted to accommodate the expiration date. But CMO Parasram says it will remain within WHO's guideline. Urvashitawari Rupnarayan of TV6 News reports.
TNT is set to enter phase 2 of its vaccination program with the arrival of 40,000 Covishield vaccinations from India on Tuesday night. The expiration date on the India's branding of the AstraZeneca vaccine is July 18th.
We have now made the decision after consultation with the Chief Medical Officer and everyone else, especially in light of the fact that we have in our hands the 40,000 doses expiring July. We will now be using out all of the 33,600 in this first phase.
Health Minister Terence Singh says this will allow the COVAX batch to be used as first vaccinations and Covishield as the second dose.
At our current rate, we're in a good position to achieve that target.
This means ramped up administration of the COVAX batch of 33,600 before it expires on May 31st.
We are now in a position to start in a small scale, phase 2 of our vaccination program, where we start to vaccinate essential workers.
Intended recipients have already been approached.
This phase starts on Saturday. In the first instance, and I've already written to all 5 benches of Parliament, we'll be vaccinating all parliamentarians, upper house, lower house, and their spouses. We'll also be tackling senior public officers, and by next week, we are going to start local government personnel.
Frontline non-medical workers, roll up those sleeves. You're up next.
Start to vaccinate essential workers under the ambit of national security. This would include frontline police, frontline prisons, frontline immigration, frontline fire, etc., frontline Coast Guard, frontline Defense Force.
But if the India vaccines expire on July 18th and there is a recommended 3-month interval between doses, that means the 33,600 COVAX doses, 10,000 of which have already been administered, need to be distributed by April 18th, 4 days from now. CMO Dr. Roshan Parasram says the interval between doses will have to be adjusted down but will remain within the WHO recommended 8 to 12 weeks.
Now we're giving 12 weeks because we can get the full 12 weeks up to, as you said, the 18th. But once we cross that date, we'll have to go anywhere between 8 and 12 weeks based on where we're at in terms of time of administration. So it will fall within the 8 to 12 week window for most of the people.
Urvashi Tiwari, Rupnarayan, TV6 News.
Antigua's Prime Minister Gaston Brown continues to intensify the advocacy for reparations from institutions in Europe and North America for the transatlantic slave trade. The Prime Minister was a guest recently on Russia Today UK, providing an update on his efforts to ensure reparations from the tertiary institutions which benefited from the profits of slavery. These are Howard University in the United States and more recently Oxford University in the United Kingdom. The Prime Minister told Russia Today his letter to Harvard has borne fruit.
President Bakal has actually responded favorably, and today we now have a program of cooperation between our local university, that is the University of the West Indies Five Islands campus, and Harvard. Now, similarly, we recognize that Antigua and Barbuda wealth was utilized to establish a library at Oxford University. So I took the opportunity to write to the warden, Professor John Vickers, to request some level of cooperation.
Prime Minister Brown insists the reparations constitute a moral, if not legal, obligation.
The Caribbean region has been left totally decimated without institutions, without adequate healthcare facilities, without universities, without schools, without proper infrastructure. And even up to this day, there is still a significant level of underdevelopment within the region.
Hubbard's big promotion is back. Live free for 1 year. Spend $50 or more in any Hubbard's department and receive a chance to win big prizes every month. Property or vehicle insurance for 1 year. Free internet, cable, and data for 1 year. Free fuel for 1 year. Free cooking gas for 1 year. Free electricity for 1 year. Free drinks for 1 year. Extra cash account and the big free groceries for 1 year. Promotion runs from April 1st to September 30th, 2021. Live free for 1 year with Hubbard's in association with Solgas, Flow, Grenadian General Insurance, Carib Brewery, Coca-Cola, Grenada Bottling Company, Grenlec, Communal Cooperative Credit Union, Dutch Lady Milk, Promo, Danny and Supreme. Terms and conditions apply.
I am Eddie Frederick, wishing you a restful weekend. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.